Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. So for today's video I'm going to be showing you guys how I made these DIY Among Us crewmate characters out of polymer clay, and I'm going to be showing you guys how I made these 3 different hats as well. So first of all, you are going to need some polymer clay, any color of your choice. Obviously I chose to use the yellow, pink, and brown clay to create those crewmates. So you're going to be needing a bigger ball and a smaller ball of the clay of your choice, and also a small ball of some silver clay. And I'm just going to be starting with a big ball of clay, and I'm going to be rolling it into kind of like an egg or a pill shape. And then I'm going to be using my X-Acto knife to cut a triangle right in the bottom of it to create the 2 little legs of the crewmate. And I'm going to be using my fingers to go ahead and smooth out the legs to make them a little bit more round. If you can't get into the crevices, you can of course use a ball tool as well. And I'm just going to be messing with it. It might be a little bit tedious to get it smooth, but you will eventually get there and you should end up with something similar to this. So now that we have the basic crewmate shape, we can go ahead and move on to the details. So I'm going to be flattening out this piece of silver clay into an oval, and then I'm going to be attaching it onto the face of the crewmate. So I'm using my X-Acto knife to kind of roughen up the surface, that way the 2 pieces of clay can bond better. I'm just going to make sure I press it on really good. And then up next we're going to be making the backpack for the crewmate. So I'm just using the smaller piece of brown clay, and I'm going to be flattening it into kind of like a square or rectangle shape, and I'm going to be using the same method of roughening up the surface in order to attach the 2 pieces of clay. So this is what your crewmate should look like, and now we are going to go ahead and move on to making the different kinds of hats. So first off, I'm going to start by making the leaf hat. That one seems to be very popular among people. So I'm going to be using a piece of green clay and rolling it into a snake, and then I'm going to be attaching it onto an eye pin. However, you do want to make sure that the green piece of clay is closest to the top of the eye pin, so that way when we stick the eye pin into the crewmate, it can look like the leaf is resting on top of it. And you just want to make sure that you stick on the green clay really good around the eye pin and smooth it really well. And if it is a little bit long, you can go ahead and trim it off with an X-Acto knife, how I am doing it here. And to make the leaves, I'm just going to flatten a little small piece of green clay into a teardrop shape to create both of the leaves. And of course, you want to make sure that you attach the leaves really well onto the stem using your fingers or a ball tool to smooth everything together. And lastly, you just want to make sure that you trim your eye pin down to size so it is able to fit inside of the character. And now I'm going to be dipping the end of the eye pin into some Sculpey liquid clay and then inserting it in through the top of the crewmate. And once you are done, your character should look something like this. So now we are going to move on to the second crewmate, which is this pink one that I had already made off camera. I'm going to be using some red Sculpey clay, and I'm going to be shaping it into a ball and putting it right on top of the crewmate. So this one is going to be the cherry hat, and then I'm going to insert my eye pin through the top, but I'm going to make sure to leave some space at the top of the eye pin so we have some room to color it for our cherry stem. So now moving on to the yellow crewmate, we are going to be creating a cheese hat. So I'm going to be using some orange clay and some yellow clay, and I'm going to be mixing that together in order to create a darker yellow color. And I'm going to be using this and forming it into a cheese wedge shape or a cake slice shape. And I'm also going to be using my dotting tool, and I'm just going to be poking some holes in it to create some cheese holes. And then I'm going to secure it onto the top of the crewmate using an eye pin dipped in Sculpey liquid clay. And now we are going to be baking all of our crewmates based on the packaging instructions.
Sit on my bed, I got nothing to do. Take out my phone, 1 second, right to you. I'm really bored.
So now that our crewmates are done baking, we are of course going to gloss them. So I'm going to be using some Sculpey gloss glaze in order to give them some shine.
It's cool to see you're real with me. Oh no, we've never met, and things like this never last. But every time you text back, I can't help but reply with hearts in my eyes. I think I really like you, but I never say it straight to your face.
So this concludes the video for today, guys, but I hope you all enjoyed. So please let me know which Among Us character you guys play as and which hat you use, and I might just be creating your Among Us character in the next episode of my polymer clay creations. So go ahead and let me know in the comments down below. Anyways, I hope you guys all have an amazing day, and I will see you all next time. Bye guys!
Been a few weeks and we're keeping this up. Difficult to deny we're on the cusp of something.